go, 6:30-ish. Red Sox on time. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nice when this stuff's coming. All right, we have no scheduled speakers. We have one set of minutes to approve from September 25th. That was a while ago. No one's printing these things out. I'll make a motion, we accept the September 25th minutes as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any public comments? Seeing none. The moderator asked you go first, so go ahead, Craig.
Great.
Thank you.
So we discussed at the meeting, I think it was the meeting after the primary election, the idea of appointing some more ballot clerks so that we can do shifts rather than expecting one person, well, two people working side by side to do the whole 11 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't do about 300 to 350 voters, given what we did at the presidential election 2 years ago. So these three people volunteered. Actually, Ginny recruited them at the primary, asked them if they would be interested. It's a matter of you folks appointing them. I'm not sure, you may know, Rose, the period of appointment. I forget what's in the RSA.
Was 2 years.
That's my thought too, but I'm not positive. So I'd be looking for an appointment for the appropriate time as regulated by the law. And then, of course, they can get reappointed. I'm still looking for one more Republican so that we're evenly balanced. And hopefully if I can find somebody, or if you have anybody in mind, then if there are two of you on Saturday, can you do that? I mean, that's technically, you notice that as a meeting, I believe, the coffee hour. Then I'll have the name for you for Saturday.
My only question is, are you sure of these party affiliations? That's the way they're registered?
No, that's the way, actually, Terry is an independent. And I asked him, because we have to go with the two parties, the two major parties, that is. And that's what he indicated to me. And Sandy, I'm quite certain I have that correct. And Roberta, I'm quite certain I have that correct.
I would just question Ward, but that's, I don't know what it means if we.
It's kind of weird asking somebody to tell me what their party is. That's why usually the Democratic and Republican county organizations are supposed to do this, but they don't seem to do it.
It's public information.
Not if you're registered as an independent.
You're registered as an independent.
Right.
So can you put an independent on the Democratic side? I don't know. I just don't know. You don't want someone to yell at us.
Right. I don't know the answer to that.
I'm not sure.
When did you speak to Terry last?
He responded to my message about 2 hours ago.
Oh.
3 hours ago.
I talked to him about it earlier,
Uh-huh.
and him and Pam were both registered undeclared.
Right.
And he volunteered them both for the job.
Right, she's not available.
Okay.
Yeah.
He, I don't know how to check it, but he may have, because I discussed that with him about independent, he may have not changed back.
I'm pretty certain he's undeclared, and what he said in his phone message to me was he could go either way, but that he would say D.
Okay.
One,
I mean, it raises, I didn't really think about it, but the fact that, I mean, I'm registered undeclared, but I don't think it matters in terms of the position that I'm in. But I suppose that could matter, huh?
Ballot clerks don't have to be declared in a party, but what we're talking about is having inspectors of election, one for each part, at least one for each party on tap at all
Right.
times.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know how that changes the thing. We're asking these people to be ballot clerks.
Which are inspectors of the election also, at least that's.
We're
what-
asking them to do both, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd approve it pending we clarify.
The law regarding somebody who's a registered independent, undeclared rather.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'll send an email to Bill Marsh tonight. And if that's a problem, then I'll tell Terry that we appreciate his services, but
if we really want to serve, I think the election officials are meeting, when are you guys meeting?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
So he could declare tomorrow night if you wanted to really clear that up.
Yes, I believe that's the case, yes. They can come in at any supervisor meeting and change their party, yes.
And the meeting is tomorrow at 7 or 6?
Tomorrow at 7, yeah,
Okay.
That's the sure thing.
unless it's a primary, that way.
Okay, let's make a motion.
I move we appoint the 3 suggestions pending party affiliation. Confirmation.
And for a term as stipulated in the RSA.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right. So the motion is made by Rick that we accept these nominations, clarify the one, and we'll have the term as long as the RSA stipulates. And seconded by Rich. Any more discussion? None?
Yeah.
Nope.
The, also in that motion is confirming party affiliation.
Yes. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Great. And then for the cemetery trustees, thanks to Rick and Roley Kenville, the base has been installed, and probably by today or tomorrow is secure. The flagpole has been ordered to be delivered from Connecticut. It may come as early as tomorrow, or it'll be probably Thursday. And I'm on call to meet them when they arrive at 176 Lyford Road, which probably won't show up on their GPS, but at least we have the number on the fence post. And I don't think they install it. I think they're just gonna, I'm gonna have them drop it up at the site. And then we'll figure out a time to get it in. And then the question is whether we go ahead with doing something on Sunday, Veterans Day, at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, with a flag raising, with the Boy Scouts presenting, and then coffee and pastries back at the town hall. I mean, we've talked about it here, but we haven't talked about it as a group. So I'm hoping to call a meeting for the cemetery trustees sometime next week, a brief meeting to confirm that everybody's on the same page for that.
I'd like to be with you when the delivery happens.
Yeah.
I think there are some components that are coming with the flagpole. I just want to assure that they're there.
Okay.
There's more pieces to that base that we don't have.
Yeah, my guess is that, well, let's hope it's with the flagpole.
Right.
Yeah.
That's,
And
I
then
just
it
want
didn't.
to confirm that. I know what we're
Yeah.
looking for.
So you want me to call you when I find out the estimated time of arrival?
Yeah.
Okay. And if I can't get you, or some reason you're not available, I'll have the material that we have with the order to make sure that everything is included.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But,
Did you
know,
check the base?
I didn't go up, no. No.
Just wondering if it's still there.
Oh, I'm sure it's still there, yeah. Let's hope it's still there. And let's hope it works. So that's it for the cemetery trustees.
You'll notify these people, or the moderator will notify them?
I will, and I'll notify Bill.
They have to be sworn in or not?
They have to be sworn in, that can be done the day of. And I'll talk to Rose about whether or not we can get together to do a training, or whether I just do the training, or how we want to do that. But we want something before they come in on November 6th. And the plan would be that with the shifts, there would be an experienced person, like Frank, with a new person, and then Ron with a new person.
Sounds good.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Yep. Stay for a couple minutes.
All right. Marilou, we get some bills to read on the regulator. Tax collector, Diane Peckham did sign in on 10/12/18, the report of all taxing redemptions from the period of July 14th, 2018 to October 12th, 2018. And that was sent over and registered with the Carroll County Registry of Deeds. What was that?
I just wanted to see who.
Oh, I know you wanted to comment.
No, I just wanted to see who it was.
Larry, Laurie, administrative assistant.
The only thing that I have tonight is in reference to the newsletter. I'm gonna review that and get it in its final format and get that printed, so that will be ready shortly.
Thank you.
Do we have any date when we're planning to issue? Is that established?
No,
Okay.
we haven't had a tax rate set, so we gotta kind of, that, like the whole house of cards has to fall in place for that, but I'd like to think. Typically, we get the bills out, what, before Thanksgiving?
We'll try to get it out by November 1st.
So we
November
get it-
1st, I thought we'd gotten it out before Thanksgiving, but.
You need 30 days. 30 days from the date on the bill. So November 1st means December 1st.
Okay. Well, I thought it was later, but okay.
We have been,
That's probably what I remember.
we have been later, but it gets,
Because I remember coming in more than once just before Thanksgiving and stuffing out of them, so. Okay. Planning board.
Planning board recommended, they want to hire Tom Beeler as the administrative assistant. So if the chair would make a motion to accept Tom Beeler, they can make the hire.
And did you set I saw, but I don't remember, an hourly rate? We're just gonna stick with,
I think it was $16 an hour, but the current rate.
okay, the current one, right?
that's what the ZBA is paying.
Okay, so we'll just use that across the board?
Yes.
It's up to the planning board.
Yeah, it knows of the plan board, I just want to make sure that we kind of on the record of that. All right, so I make a motion that we accept the planning board's recommendation to hire Tom Beeler as the administrative assistant at the going rate of $16 an hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I would suggest we hire him and let the planning board set the rate.
Right.
Okay, then I'll amend the motion. I guess we're going to amend the motion because it wasn't, that we just accept the planning board's recommendation to hire Tom Beeler as administrative assistant and let them handle the logistics of pay and so on.
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Rick, do you know if George is going to train him in some form or fashion?
I do not, I doubt it.
Yikes.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, between you and the crew there, I'm sure you can lean on you guys. Code enforcement road agent.
Can we go back to the planning board for a minute?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add that we did get some straggler, this is in reference to the master plan survey. We did receive some extra surveys which we're going to compile. We've set aside a separate meeting, which is November 1st at 6:30 PM, where we're going to compile what we have in total so we can present something to the public, what we've basically compiled so far. And that's going to happen on the 1st.
So we'll be over at the town office then, because the, what's happening November 1st? Oh, okay. When is your meeting?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Never mind.
Okay.
And let's see, the last thing was, we have 2 pits in town, 2 gravel pits. And Selectman Rick and I went up to the Moose Mountain pit and we inspected that, and we're still waiting to hear back from the second pit, and we'll take care of that one soon, so. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, back to code enforcement.
Well, code office wise, I got, all the permits are up to date, and I'm waiting for a check on a small one. But interestingly, through getting that all cleared up, in 2016, we had 3 new houses. 2017, we had 4 new houses, and in 2018, we had 5 new houses. So I don't know what next year's gonna bring. Other than that, the code-wise, that's pretty much it for the road stuff. Sand is being delivered tomorrow to mix with salt to put in the shed. We fixed a washout on Stoneham Road.
Yeah, so the
Sand
riprap
and
there.
burns, yeah, and got that all taken care of. That was a continual problem. We just had to put rock in there because it was just kept washing out. I think it was the 3rd time it had done it since we paved that road. Everything runs down from pretty much the intersection, goes past Wentworth and all the way down until it hits the steeper part, and then it starts washing. So we took care of that. Started cleaning up around the sand shed, and we've been hauling stuff in over the summer and everything, so we're piling it up, getting ready to put snow. Don't go out and look at your cars right now, so, but we're getting ready.
What's the plan for the rest of the riprap over on the corner of Stone?
I'm gonna actually continue it down.
Okay, I was gonna ask if that's.
I think we should go further, and that'll just about use up what's left.
Okay.
Then the gentleman on Stoneham Road, forgive me, I can't remember his name.
I don't either, but the gentleman on Stone Road.
Well, we all know who we're talking about. So I met with them and discussed a couple of options, and I told them later this week I would come back. One of the first options was to do similar to what we do on the edge with the riprap, is to cut a swath in his driveway.
Mhm.
I'm not sure these folks know about what the issue is.
Okay, so, so the house that is just before Andy Tapper's on the opposite side, the one with the big clearing down in the hollow there.
Yeah.
Water right now, the last turnout is somewhere uphill from Andy Tapper's. So everything on the road from there hits the side of the road, comes all the way down that hill, and then when it hits his driveway, because his driveway drops off from away from the road quite steeply and quickly, it washes that sand out and just dumps serious water down his driveway. So originally there was a culvert across that driveway with a little bit of a catch basin, and one of the previous owners ripped it out and had done a swale. And they lived with it. You know, when they said, oh, the water, I said, well, you know, there's nothing we can do. We had it under control. And then anyway, so just trying to keep peace and all that, I went up to speak with him to see what we could do about it. He agreed to let us make 2 turnouts into his field. One just uphill from that garage that's right there, that little shed, and then another one halfway up between that and the last one I have. So that'll take about 2/3 of the road water right off, and then I had suggested that we cut, or I didn't say we, that gets cut across the driveway, almost like a culvert. Fill it up with stone and just let it go. All that water would come down and it would just run through there. Then I got really thinking about it. He plows his, and I know it's not up to us, but I'm just trying to give him recommendations. He uses a snow blower. It's probably not a good idea to be picking them rocks up and throwing them. So I'm gonna actually take my transit up there and measure. We might be able to get with reducing the water that comes down the hill by 2/3, we might be able to get a swale across his driveway enough to take the water. So, but we're dealing with it, and they're very easygoing. So that's what we're doing there.
Good, thank you.
Paving, Pike Brook?
I will call them tomorrow. I haven't heard.
Yeah, I know October was the,
Yeah, but you know, the end is near.
yeah.
And I think we got some cold weather coming the end of the week. And during the days are gonna be nice, but the nights are gonna start dropping.
So I was kind of hoping that we could get them up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna come a point where we may have to say no for this year. I mean, if it starts putting frost on the ground, you can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
And my concern is with the daylight going down and the nighttime temperatures going down, once, you know, sometimes in the early stages, we get a little frost, but it's out by midday.
Yeah.
But once it doesn't, you know, once that, we go through a day or two where that frost doesn't come out, it's gonna take quite a bit to pull it out,
Right.
so.
Yeah, give them one more shot, see if we can get them in there.
Yep. I think that's about it.
We briefly talked about the Holden engineering plans.
Yes.
You know, I guess we'd like a little discussion. We'd like to meet with you to figure out what they tell us.
Correct, I think that's a great idea. So I'm pretty flexible. I mean, when can you guys get together? You wanna do it tonight?
Yeah, if this wraps up soon enough, I just want to just kind of meet after, if you don't mind hanging around.
Yeah, I don't really, it's not that complicated.
All right. And there's not much left on the agenda, so we should.
Yeah, and it's not a full-blown set of engineering plans, it's the process to get going in the
That's
state.
fine, we wouldn't understand the
So-
engineering anyway.
Right.
At least I don't.
So, yeah, we can do it after.
We received, what's that form? Does he know anything about that form, or should we know about it later?
More fun.
The form was on our table, that you gave it to that's go to the planning board for action?
Oh, is that the one that Rick?
I put it in that box.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It was something about wetland backfilling near the, near the river, near the bridge. It was presented by Holden Engineering.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Okay. I'll show you that later.
Okay, okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Yep.
Conservation Commission. Anna? Heritage Commission, they met last week. There is the Veterans Day dinner at 5:30 over in the Town Hall, Saturday the 10th of November. It's a potluck deal. There'll be more information on the website. And there'll be music and whatnot, and potluck. So they try to alphabetize and bring items, but if you got a dish that you want to bring, go ahead and bring a dish. And usually a pretty decent crowd, 30 to 40 plus people there. It's at 5:30 on the 10th of November. Okay, cemetery trustees. We just heard from Craig, so we're in decent shape, right? No other boards, the committees, nothing on grant review, cable, nothing along those lines, right?
That's correct.
Okay. No business on the agenda. Anything that Just did it make the agenda we want to talk about as far as little business goes?
Yes. We have 4 contacts for painting. And I was wondering if you would send out an email when you get a chance to those 4 contacts. You wrote a brief description on a piece of email to one of them.
Yeah, and I haven't received anything back from him as of yet.
But
That
we
was the guy that Ed got us in touch with.
We should use that same wording as my point with these other 3 then.
Okay.
And let's see if we can't get some response for next spring.
Were you copied on that email, Laurie?
I don't think so. I haven't had a chance to really go through it all.
All right, looking at it, I thought I did copy, but
Okay.
that was from the last meeting that you weren't at, so it was like the very next day I emailed them, and I think then, like, later that afternoon he called me, and I sent him an email saying this is what we want.
Okay, I'll
So,
check.
check around.
There were some painters out here at the end of last week.
Oh, good.
They were people who looked like painters. I don't want to say that they were painters, and I don't want to assume anything.
All right, so we have 3 other email addresses. I'll give them to you.
Okay,
And then you can put a consistent letter asking for some input.
sure.
Coffee is Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a suggestion that we should consider. Someone suggested, I'll tell you, it was Diane Smith, I thought it was a good idea, that we do something with the back of our kiosk. Now that the trees are down, we've got this big green thing hanging out there. So it's an opportunity to do something, to make it informative, to do something with it. And she didn't have a solution, but she said, hey, you know, you got an opportunity to do something with that green bulletin board. Behind the kiosk. We used to have it hidden.
Oh,
But now that the trees are down, when you truck down the road, you don't, before you see the town hall, you see this blank
Oh,
green.
the backside,
The
I'm
backside.
trying to figure out what you were talking about.
The backside
Yeah,
of
I
the kiosk is
understand
just standing out there now.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to put something on there that we want to,
How about your sign that you use for town coffees? Can you put the little insert letters in there when you need it? You want
We
them
could buy
full?
the
Track
thing,
and the
the
letters.
track that slides right on.
boy, just think about it. We have an opportunity to do something right now. It doesn't look too great because it's just a big green
Yeah.
piece of plywood there.
make it camouflage.
Put a tree in.
Put a tree in some bush.
So, we'll have to talk about that.
They're trying to reduce bulletin boards on the landscape.
That's my list.
Okay. Any new business? Think of? Whenever we do get Brad to install the doorknob, can we also see if we can get him in to install the dry erase board?
Yes, and I'll give him that list, I should have mentioned that. And we can fix where we put the heat tape underneath the schoolhouse.
Yeah, you want to put that back together?
Put that back together again. And there was one other thing. Oh, the kiosk still needs more work. Tom Hill fixed one of the joints. The glue keeps failing. It looks like it was an interior glue on the joints. So they're failing, so Tom put in just an L bracket on the inside, screwed it together.
All right, that thing's too new to start falling apart, so let's see if Brad can kind
Put the,
of make it weatherized type thing.
all right, so those 4 things, I'll get a hold of Brad with those.
Okie dokie. All right, any other new business anybody wants to bring up? No? Okay, no non-public. Any more public comments? One more shot. We have mail and bills, so,
Bills, you want to do the bills first?
yeah, read the bills.
Eversource, $15.50. Eversource, $135.39. Yeah, and I didn't read that one, but we have 10 construction, $7,900 and $7,906. We have Brick Surette for concrete, I believe, 18 bags. It's never moving for $116.82. Who mixed that?
Roll and I mixed it.
There's a lot of mixing. We've got, Rick and I are going to the New Hampshire Conference for Municipal Association. So we need a check for, 2 checks for $75. And then we have a Staples bill for $50.07.
That's just all.
And we got a propane delivery, 358 gallons, came to $564.93. That's all the bills.
I make a motion to accept the bills as read on the record by Rich.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll leave these in the lockbox for Marilou. Sound good?
Sure.
No, you do. Any other mail? No,
That's the stuff that's great.
that's true. No, what's this thing here? All right, this is from Carroll County. Dear Clerk, we are in need of courthouse records researchers in your area, so if you would be so kind to help us out with anybody that'd be interested, please fill out this form. You just put your name as a researcher, your email, and your phone number. So if anyone is in favor of becoming a courthouse records researcher in Carroll County, so please sign up.
Is it volunteer or is it?
It doesn't state if it's paid or volunteer. I just found it odd, and it was in our box. So I wanted to at least read it in case Carroll County is looking for some sort of help, either workers or volunteer. I think that's it. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Well, your only comment you can make, I think, is that the tax rate. County's in, town's ready, we're waiting for the school.
Yeah, and I checked the DRA website end of last week, and it still wasn't set. So I'll pop on tomorrow to give it one more look, see, and myself a reminder. DRA tax rate. I'll see if it's there. If it is, I will take a screenshot and send it to you guys. Okay. Well, see nothing else. Meeting adjourned.
You want to adjourn the meeting when we look at these? Or
Well,
because you're all together, is there any?
we're all together, but let's clean the table up, and then we can talk, and then we'll talk about the bridge. But
I guess as long as no decisions are made.
right, no decisions. It's just an informative meeting, and we're continuing to have a posted meeting. It's just for the purposes of the selectmen meeting.
Okay.
We'll just have a supplemental meeting about that.
Well, just,
And
I would just rescind the recess and keep the meeting, we should have a quorum. and-
okay, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't
I'm sure
matter.
people would be interested to hear.
If they're interested, sure. Learn about a bridge. All right, let's just clean up a little, then we can do that.
sure.
Selectman Zacher, if you get a boot for your other leg and put some on your arms, you could do a good costume. Like a Transformer costume.
You want to go trick or treating? Yeah.
Thank you for your input.
He's getting a new boot, it's gonna be more like a mummy.
No. Sorry.
Leave these up in March. As a matter of fact, why don't we just leave them up?
I swear if we could, I would, but this is a little
Just leave
annoying.
them up.
This is a little annoying.
Plenty of room for us. The big guys that have trouble back here.
Oh, yeah, I'm tired.
Feel like I'm done. Look at these. That's what I figured. This is a.
So what this all is just a permitting process. Get my orientation here. This is,
Loose amount on that one, right?
yeah, this is going down.
Yeah.
Here's the road.
Yeah, there's the road. I'm pretty sure that's road.
No, there you go. That's the bridge right there.
Right, this is the bridge. Okay, and then this.
Oh, this is the
I'm-
river,
I'm
I'm
reading,
sorry.
I'm reading it, I'm trying to read it upside down, so just be patient with me.
No, that's the road back and forth. Where's the north arrow? Where's the north? It's gotta be the north arrow.
That's the river flow.
What's the other side? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's a river, this is downhill.
That's the river flow.
So this is
Right,
uphill.
this is the road. This is up,
This is from down by Craig, yeah, it's going that way.
correct, Craig should be here, Rick should be here.
Okay.
Mailbox, yeah. Stone wall. The neighbor's driveway, their mailbox. So this is explaining the procedure, what they want to do is, what we gotta do basically is we gotta dry this up to work underneath the scouring of the abutment. And how you do that is you build, sometimes they call them coffer dams, water stops, whatever, but giant sandbags with a culvert that goes through. So you're blocking the water up, running it through a culvert, keeping this area dry. So they're just explaining with diagrams showing that. Yeah,
All right, so here's the abutments, right?
correct, the
Right
original
here.
abutments are right here. This
What
one
is that?
and that one. That's a dewatering basin. That's temporary. That's only to deal with this process.
So they're gonna, looks like they're gonna pump water out of here on both sides?
Yep. Yep,
And filter it up there.
correct. Yep.
Any water that escapes the culvert.
Correct, anything that seeps through there, you just dig a couple of pits,
Okay?
and then you put pumps
So-
in.
So what doesn't show is where's the temporary road? Because if they put this in the middle.
That is correct, and let's see if it's on the other,
Because that shuts down a road.
correct.
Then you gotta do hazard across.
Yeah. This is telling you how to build a sediment pond, so. So that's what we got, they don't show us the bridge at all.
So, that brings us, so, what do they do, what do we do? Do we have to put the bridge in?
Yeah, the temporary bridge will be up to us, so we can rent them, we can build them if we want, and the reason I believe the reason that's not part of this is because we're not gonna be messing in the water. We stay out of that river bank right here. We can put that temporary bridge across there.
Do we have enough town land there?
I doubt it. The old story goes, it's the reason this bridge was skewed like it is, because when they plunked this bridge, this was much narrower, and when they put the temporary bridge in, I remember it, but I had no clue what was going on. I remember going down over the bridge here, that they put the bridge in first to start work, and once they realized, that once the bridge was in place and they started doing the work, this end of the temporary bridge was too close. So they just went with it.
So this is just the environmental,
This is the
Land. This is
environmental,
not
the
the-
wetlands.
That's what all this is?
Yeah, these are applications. They have to, let's see. We actually gotta go through this with the Conservation Commission, which we need to schedule a meeting.
Our Conservation Commission?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're the ones who handle the wetlands stuff. Let's see, sign box is 11 on page 2.
Who is going to do that? Is that the selectmen? Is that you?
Well, I will certainly help, I'll do whatever I can, but it kind of falls on you guys.
That's what I thought. It's our bridge.
Yeah, it's your bridge. So,
Okay, so we have that action.
yeah.
What concerns me is this temporary bridge.
Okay.
What if we get pushback? And not on my property?
that's what I'm wondering.
That's a good question, because the last time they did it, it was on private property too.
Yeah, but new private property today.
I understand that,
So we have to clear that up, I think. I mean,
Yep.
With,
Yep,
if we don't get that.
but that doesn't impact this
Well,
unless.
we have to put a temporary bridge over this span to get across, that impacts that settling pond.
The whole current bridge is on private property, so,
It is?
yeah. That's a right of way, that whole road.
Yes, but we have
That's-
jurisdiction over
But
that.
that's what they call
Prescriptive right of ways.
prescriptive right of way.
Descriptive right of way, what is, what's Bryce Drive, deeded right of
It's a
way?
deeded right of way.
Okay.
But if we're gonna have to take trees down, I mean, just picture a temporary bridge. Is it 1 lane or 2 lanes?
It would be one lane.
So it's 20 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet?
10 or 12, I was thinking.
The whole thing would probably be at least 12.
Yeah, that's right.
By the time you get some guardrails up, it can be a single lane down to whatever.
So I've heard both ways, the temporary bridge and half at a time on this bridge.
Well,
Are
this-
they removing this bridge?
Because well, this is, that's the way it appears. We told them, the end result is we wanted this to be widened on this end by 3 feet to make it a double lane.
Yeah.
So it has to have a new deck.
So if we're gonna put a 12-foot, whatever the number is, road in, we're not going south of the bridge. There's no room. We gotta go north. Now we're taking trees down. We might be impacting driveways over there.
Well, we would be impacting driveways, there's a tree here, there's not much that has to be altered. And we'd obviously be obligated to put it back, any of the terrain that we change.
As long as we get permission to do it.
Correct.
And is that in the quotes that they gave us? Do you remember? No, I didn't think so either. They're talking about
No,
this work,
correct.
so we have to,
So we have any idea what the cost of a bridge rental is, or where we get one?
I haven't got that far yet because we've been waiting so long on everything else.
so, are we gonna try to do this next year? No,
Okay,
because I would think we have to get, I hate to do it, but I think we have to get, I don't wanna say it, surveyed and a lawyer to say we can do this work, and they have to sign
Well,
something.
why don't we approach the landowners and see if they're okay with that? And then if they would be willing, if they're okay with it, then we can have the town attorney draw up some legal documents binding us to reconstruct any disturbance and them allowing us to do that.
I'm okay with that, I mean, if that's, start with a handshake, we can do it.
So, Rick, remind me, who owns this piece right here?
Terrence and Michelle Lee.
Okay, oh, yeah, there you go.
They own both sides?
So we're dealing with one landowner.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that simplifies that, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that would be the best way to go.
So showing the existing right of way,
What about the other side if they say no?
Your house is there.
That's a lot of work. It's your front yard.
No, I know, but
But
if
think of the landscape,
they say no, what do we do?
I don't know, you'd have to talk to the town attorney.
yeah, at that point, is it some sort of eminent domain type thing?
Well, yeah, you're not taking anything,
Right.
you're using.
Yeah, it's almost like a
And,
temporary.
the
eminent domain.
state has put the bridge on the watches, telling us we gotta do something.
So maybe we should invite the landowners to come meet with us.
I'll go on your behalf if you'd like and.
Whatever's the least threatening, most cordial
Well,
way
that's
to.
me.
So maybe we should,
Was
So
there ever
perhaps-
an opportunity explored to just repair this bridge as opposed to putting in a new bridge?
Yeah, that's where we started out, with just a
Mhm.
repair. And it just, where were we at? I think then, several years ago, we were at $76,000 projection to fix it. And then At that point, I think it was 16,000 and on top of that for engineering. And then you end up with a bridge, it's still a 1.5 lane bridge. You know, if you're gonna go to that expense, I would think it.
And what's the price tag on the 2-lane bridge?
I don't know at this point, to be honest with you. I think it started out, and we was projecting adding, I think, 30.
We're thinking 130,
Yeah.
but that's before we just talked about a new temporary bridge up north of that.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Right, that
gotta
was
get a
just,
cost on that.
hmm?
More than permission, you gotta get a cost on
Well,
it.
yeah, we have to, oh, yes, but if we're not gonna be able to do it,
Right, well, I mean, we start with getting permission first, because we know roughly what's gonna happen.
Because I also thought that these walls were being compromised from behind as well, and that's why we
They are,
we thought it
but,
wasn't feasible to really,
but this is to deal with the water flow right now, so their engineering is going to involve forming this, and they don't show, well, they show it here. This is what they were talking about, to do this wing wall, and I'll use on Rick's side, because that's, drops off, and I think that was where the worst scour was,
I believe it was.
is to excavate, form, fill the scour with concrete,
Mhm.
and then to create this water coming down the street from continuing, because that's where a lot of it was going to work the slope and line it with riprap into a ditch, and there was residual work up the street.
Who does that?
Well, that's all part of this project.
Okay.
Yes, that was all part of this project.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got about 3 action items. We gotta talk to the Conservation Commission, let them know.
Yeah.
We've gotta get a quote on a temporary bridge, and we have to talk to the property owners. They're the 3 I see.
Yeah.
now these wetland permits, if we're not gonna be doing this project for a while, do these expire?
5 years.
Okay, cool, I don't wanna waste a bunch of time and money for only
Yeah.
like annual or something.
5 years, and I believe the permit fee is $200.
Okay, so, it's-
So it's not, I mean,
yeah, it's not like $10,000 like fees.
So we paid Holden, I don't know, 14,000, I think.
yeah,
Mm.
Do we owe more money now because they finished this job, or do we wait for the engineering drawings?
Yeah, I'll take another.
I personally am not happy with it. I feel that this, I wouldn't pay them any more money until we got more product.
Well, what do we expect next?
The engineered, not just the wetlands stuff, but the engineering on the bridge repair itself and the new deck.
And we have to pull the contract to see if that was part of the 30,000.
It was,
Okay.
yes.
I'll say that.
30,000 was a complete, including this, and the engineering, and an estimated cost to do the work too.
Which we could go with a different vendor at that point, because we have engineering drawings.
That's the reason to do it, yep.
Okay, so, who's gonna talk to the property owner?
I will.
Okay. You wanna take a copy of this with you? Can we spare a copy?
I believe we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
There should be 4 and 4. There's an extra copy. Yeah.
You'll get a price on a temporary bridge
Yeah.
for budgeting purposes,
Yeah.
and I'll get us on the Conservation Commission agenda.
Yeah, that's not urgent. you know.
What's that?
Who does temporary bridge?
I don't know the name of the company. I have a flyer in the office. They're called Bailey Bridges.
And to build a temporary, it's not gonna be, it's cheaper to rent than it, right?
Well, I don't know about that.
It's no wonder it
It all
isn't.
depends on the span. Yeah.
Okay.
Span, time.
That's gonna touch the wetlands. That's gonna hit the wetland. Picture this, just picture.
No, you stay, if you stay out of the riverbanks, you don't need a permit.
And what are you gonna just lay, just the great work on the ground?
No, you put in like waste blocks or something to create a temporary,
Hold the weight?
yeah,
Like a footing. type.
footing, yeah.
All right.
And then you gotta hold oil trucks and fire trucks.
Yep.
And all kinds of big trucks.
Yeah.
Maybe not gravel trucks from the pit. We might be able to-
Well, it's a weight, it's, you find out what the fire basically would be probably determined by the fire department.
Yeah, I'm sure the rental company
And
has a
then-
pretty
and
good
then-
idea what.
And then, you know, everybody else falls into suit of that.
Okay.
And it's easier on the side of the road opposite Rick's house. It's
Yeah.
gonna be more, okay.
It's a lot less steep.
Yeah,
It's
so all
already,
this
it's already
dirt.
cleared for the most part.
It was clear before from,
Yeah, but that's where it was
So
before.
other than taking down some trees and grading, it's not, we're not gonna do
Yeah,
much.
and I don't think there's, it's only the tree behind them, there's a tree behind their mailboxes.
Yeah, there's some junk trees there.
There's no maple trees there.
Yeah, no, like majestic oaks or something.
It's maple trees on our side.
Oh, I see. Do we have any, it's a road by prescription, right? And that says between the rock walls. Is that, on the north side, is that clear? Are we gonna end up taking some of their, some of the road that's not in prescription?
Well, it may involve that, and that's why you need their permission.
No, permanently taking.
Oh, once it's done? No. Nope.
Well, it's gonna grow 3 feet.
That's where I was coming from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
right
one
away,
end's already 3 feet wide, so it's not gonna be,
Yeah.
you know,
you look at the map, the right of way was pretty wide, as long as that's accurate.
I was thinking that.
It looked at least 10 feet within the right of way, so like if we went 3, 4 feet out, it's not gonna be a
well,
problem.
you figure our pavement is roughly 18 feet.
Yeah,
A couple of feet on each side for some concrete work.
yeah, I don't picture that being that,
I mean, I'm existing what it is there now, so we're
Right.
talking 22, 23 feet, say 25 feet.
Where are the rock walls? That's what.
They vary in town from 35 to 50, but the majority of them are 50.
If they're 50 there, we're golden. If
Yeah.
they're 35 there, we're.
We're gonna be tight, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, so temporary bridge, you gonna talk to the property owner?
Conservation, if you get a number for budgeting, because if we're way out of line, we gotta start putting some money away.
So,
Yeah.
is it, at this point, do we wanna have a hearing with the conservation if we need more answers? Should we wait on the conservation hearing
I was gonna say wait on the conservation.
until we have some feedback from the
There's a lot of
landowner?
loose ends here
And,
still.
yeah, there's a few loose ends we probably should take care of.
We could probably punt the conservation thing till early next year and just get all this stuff done.
Yeah.
And then do a conservation hearing beginning of next year, once we have all these answers,
Okay.
and, or later this year, but what I'm saying, it's not urgent, we don't need this like next week.
Okay, I just don't know what the,
I think we need to talk, my opinion is we talk to the landowner, we get a price on a bridge, and that's probably they're gonna probably wanna come out and see the site, but we gotta get that work done, and then,
I was gonna say, they're gonna need to come out and see what we're gonna need, we're gonna have to stop marking out trees and spots, and that's where the property owner's gonna have to be okay with us being out there.
and we most likely like to do it before it snows, if they're gonna look at the ground.
That would help, yeah.
Otherwise, we do it next summer.
And with all these variables, be prepared to go back to a repair if this thing spirals out of
I
hand.
agree, that's gonna be our fallback plan, is that we may have to.
This was the repair.
This is
that's the
a,
way it started out.
We're leaving the original abutments. The only variable that maybe we can give up on.
Is the new deck.
It's the new deck, not expand the
Which was
width.
30,000. But this is a repair. They wanted 600,000 for a new bridge.
Yeah, but if we're not gonna replace the full deck and make it wider, can we do half the bridge at a time?
Maybe.
See, that's what I thought was gonna
Well,
happen.
that's the way we were talking, and I think when the heat was turned on, they produced something of a standard nature,
Okay,
how they deal with it.
okay.
Because we can use that plan for everything and just not put a new deck on. Put a,
Right, if we can avoid the temporary bridge, that'd be,
that's gonna be, I think that's big dollars.
if we avoid the temporary bridge?
I think temporary bridges are expensive.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if we avoid the temporary bridge, if we can do half and half, which I don't know, you tell me if that's not possible, then.
Only because of the narrowness at the other end.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know if this is gonna be possible, and.
Well, let's do a little more homework.
Sounds good.
Good, thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, now we can, no more talking, we're good?
Yeah.
All right, now meeting's really adjourned.
Don't turn that off, don't turn that off yet.
Oh, just, stop it.
We're done.